Hello, and today we are talking about Lay's Razor Rush mid. Now, before we get to the mid specifically, let's talk about everything else surrounding the mid. He can cancel the mid into a stance, but that won't stop you from getting your sidestep or your punish if your character can sidestep and punish it. Now, there is also a low extension, but this low is -6 on hit and it is a launcher on counter hit. There is a 6 frame gap between both the low and the mid, so this will determine how you're going to do your punishes. Now, there is also this Tiger transition. The odd thing about this Tiger transition is that somehow he is in a crouching state for a few frames, which is weird because Tiger in itself is not a crouching stance. He is -13, so any 13 frame mid will connect, but for a few frames he can't block mid at all, so go off. We're only going to be focusing on the mid kick though, especially at the wall, and I can't stress this enough, especially at the wall. Some characters have an easy time stepping it, some not. Let's go over the ones who have an easy time, starting with Asuka. It's very easy to sidestep right consistently even at the wall and get your right axis combo. Jin is the next character. He can parry the kick, but when he parries it he's only -14 and not -15, so you can't launch him. Better to sidestep it. Next we have Josie as well. Super easy time stepping to the right, no problem. Well, sometimes it may be a problem depending on where the wall is, so be careful about that. Up next we have Shayu. Again, if the wall is too much on one side you won't be able to move freely, so be careful about that. But she also has an AOP option. Eliza is the next character, and you'll notice it's mostly small hurtbox characters that can step this very easily. But then we also have Anna, who can also step this very reliably. Lay himself is another small hurtbox character who can step it very easily. And of course, would it be a video without the Queen herself making an appearance? And of course, wherever she goes, he follows, but he does have a bit of a trickier time because he has a wide hitbox, so be careful with that as well. And lastly, on the characters who can step this easily at the wall, we have Leroy Smith. Now, dealing with this string is much easier in the open for most of the cast, but I want to focus specifically at the wall, and very many characters cannot step this string at the wall at all. And yes, this includes the characters famous for their side steps like Lily, Alyssa, Zafina, Miguel. They can step it at the wall, but it's not all doom and gloom. There are some options that are possible, and we'll go over them. Remember I mentioned that there's a 6 frame gap before the mid or the low, meaning that any reversal or power crash that activates in 6 frames or below will work. This armor move activates armor in 6 frames, meaning that she can't armor through the mid, however the low will counter hit her, so it's not the best option. Armored reversals like Devil Jins and Kazumis will be able to armor through this without the risk of getting counter hit by the low, which is fair. If your character has a standard reversal or a reversal that works only on kicks, again you won't run the risk of being countered, but I'm not going to list every single character that can do this, you know them already. Don't use attack reversals or sabakis as we know them to counter this move. Like Leroy's up forward one, it will counter the mid, however he will get counter hit if Lay does the low, and that is not good. It's the same concept with backswing blows or moves that have very good evasion. They might be able to evade the mid, but they will get counter hit by the low, so be careful with those. Examples of these would be like Eddie's back 1+2 or like Lily's Matterhorn, which we saw earlier. Chloe's forward 4, funnily enough. And one of the 2 characters that can evade both the mid and the low is Miguel with his back forward 1, which is absolutely great. Our resident ninjas Raven and Yoshi don't have the attack reversals connect in time after parrying the mid, which is slightly unfortunate, but Yoshi does have a slightly more interesting time because remember that 6 frame gap I mentioned? Well, calm down, don't get too excited, you will trade in no one's favor. I think even Yoshi recovers much slower than Lay in this situation, so yeah. However, the armor of Yoshi's Rayjet also activates in 6 frames, meaning it will counter both the mid and the low perfectly. It's very risky, but most often you will get the right read, especially at the end of the round. The Lay player might think he's going to kill you, but then the Rayjet makes it only do like 3 damage, and then you'll most likely survive, and then you steal the round from under his nose. Brilliant. Now to wrap it up, characters with invincible moves of course can be both very risky, very rewarding, you decide what you want to do. Here I'm going to put in a list of characters who have options against it. Hopefully I wasn't too lazy to edit it. If I was, enjoy this black screen and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Say hi to everyone for me. Bye.